In this episode of Motive Garage presented by Sparesbox, it's day 2 of the 2023 Yokohama World Time Attack Challenge. Well, it's day 2 of the 2023 Yokohama World Time Attack Challenge, and obviously things were going a little bit too well up until about halfway through yesterday. So for the second half of the event over 3 days, we figured we should have something to do, right? So essentially last night we're up until midnight, basically changed the head gasket on the car. But you know what? We're actually happy about it, and the reason for that is in years gone by, we've always just chased things that are broken and just hoped to get a flying lap in. While this year we've had a car that we've been able to drive, develop it, try and go faster, and essentially all we did was we just turned it up. We didn't break a head gasket, we essentially lifted the head, and obviously when you lift the head, it then obviously pushes boost pressure in the cooling system, pushes past the gasket. We're obviously going to put a new one in, so the boys did that last night. Great job to get it all done. We're just buttoning everything up this morning, ready for the first session. So essentially with a stock block and stock sleeves, where the head gasket seals on the block, and we've only got half-inch head studs, they're not L19s or anything. Essentially the head and the block are just kind of separating and warping when we've got 39 pound of boost in it. So essentially the head gasket has become a fuse for a block and head combination that really is being asked to do too much. So we know we're in that territory. We're voluntarily pushing the car that hard. It's not a mistake we've made. We haven't accidentally blown a head gasket. We just pushed it, man. It's World Time Attack. You want that one flying lap, you're going for it. And like, there's so many people here turn these cars up, and it's just one of those things, right? We never thought we'd run a 30, and now we're sitting here talking about 29s, and you can't help it. You just send it. Something takes over your brain and you no longer care about reliability or whether I get to drive it again in months from now. Like, you just put the whole car on the line to try and get that number. And essentially that's what we did. And we'll probably do it again. So session 1, we're about to go out probably about half an hour. We've got fresh rubber on because, as we all know, the first session of Saturday is always considered the best conditions of the event. It rained overnight Thursday night, didn't rain last night. They cleaned the track last night. So in theory, this is the window. So as long as the car does what it did on the 30.4 lap with a couple of tiny tweaks, thanks to Shockworks, hopefully there's a 29.99999 in there. So yeah, let's see what we can do. basically identical.
Disappointing PB.
Oh yeah, disappointing PB. No. So good news is a PB. It wasn't a 29, but it was another 1:30.4. So basically, we backed it up. Like I said, I was already stoked with that time. We thought we'd have a crack at a 29. If we can do it, we can do it. We can't, we can't. And yeah, I think he got balked on the first lap, backed off, went again. And but yeah, look, it was slightly quicker, but still pretty much the same time. So yeah, awesome. Means it backed it up. So it's pretty good. Pretty good.
They had to do the cylinder head gasket last night on this car. The cylinder head was off. We had a few SR20s out of the frame last night.
We did.
There's a little bit of SR hurt. Oh, Bozza! Maximum attack there for Johnny Boston. Love that turn for you can kind of tell how people's intentions are at that turn. It's like how much real estate do you want? Because if that is F1, they can you lap for that, wouldn't they? Yeah. Exceeding track boundaries. We don't mind a little bit of exceeding the track boundary. We don't mind that.
As long as they go fast, they can use up the whole track.
Well, you know that any time that in a race, exceeding track boundaries might give you an advantage in position, but here it would just chop your time down. So we don't mind if you do it because it's only going to bite you. Only going to bite you time-wise. They were so stoked. They didn't ever think they'd run a minute 30 like minute 30, but they did. Oh, Boz, nearly out of tyre, Boz. I think they said they're putting new tyres on it today, give it a real crack. So, and I mean, put it on some decent boost. And that SR20, it's been a little bit untidy, a little bit messy. Oh, look, he still goes a PB in the car. Minute 30.424.
Minute 30.4 again with a PB. So it's slightly quicker.
It's got a mad vibration in the front.
In the front end?
Yeah.
Chassis?
It's like it feels metallic, so it feels chassis wise. Like when I came in on the front straight, I thought, oh, have I got it or not? And as soon as I got into it, it was like I don't know, engine mounts or something. I don't know. It's
okay.
It has a lot of vibration anyway, but yeah, you took it next level.
You can feel it. Yeah. Oh, like the car shaking.
The car's shaking.
Yeah.
All right. We'll take a look. How did it feel otherwise?
Yeah, like it's a bit. Yeah. Like I stuffed up the first in the braking. It just. Yeah, it was tyres, brakes, all of that sort of stuff.
We saw you get out of the first attempt.
Yeah, so I just rolled out of it. And
you had a green sector the first half.
Yeah.
So we were like, oh, here we go. And then, but it was hundreds as opposed to tens.
There's more. There's definitely more in it. I was fighting with the dash that was falling apart around me.
We went too fast. That's happened before, actually.
So I was like, geez, what's all this going on? So yeah, so I was mucking around with that. That was quite funny on the cameras. Yeah, there's more in it, but it's just
getting it.
Oh my God, it's understeering. Like turn 2, it's like far out. Anyway, but it is what it is. I changed my gearing a little bit.
Could it be like an exhaust rubbing on something? Is it like that style of thing?
Maybe, yeah. That's what it feels like. Very metallic-y.
Okay.
Is the dump pipe rubbing on the chassis rail or something?
Check now. Let's get it in.
Now our biggest problem is time of day and tyres.
Yeah, that's all right. That's fine.
Still does a 30. And it comes back again.
Corporate Hill, here we go.
We'll give you a cheeseburger next. You get A1 while you're 28.
That's it.
So I'm Kyle, I'm an aerodynamicist from JKF Aero. Basically, I have an undergraduate degree in aerospace engineering, and I followed that up with a PhD in aerodynamics. And while I was doing that, I was basically consulting for some lower level teams in terms of how they could improve the aero on their car. When I finished my PhD, I actually got a job at Mercedes Formula One. So I did a few years over at Mercedes Formula One, and then I came back from England, came back to Australia. And then since I've been doing that, I've been working on a whole bunch of different projects on cars ranging from OEM projects to professional teams. Then a lot of the work I do in Australia is with privateers and private teams and individuals. When you come to an event like this, you have a huge number of cars all in the same spot. And it's one of those events where you have a lot of amateur cars, so there's lots of flow patterns occurring on cars that are perhaps unusual and interesting. Usually when flow's behaving really well, it's not so interesting visually, because you go and if you try to visualize it, it's just a lot of straight lines, maybe a little bit of curvature. With some of these amateur cars, you get some amazing flow patterns, things that you would just never expect to see, and you get some really cool learnings from that. So by coming here today, what I can do is, obviously I've been offering the service across the grid is basically a free flow viz test for everyone here. The idea being that obviously it's a marketing strategy, but also we can go and get all that data off all those different cars. We get all the pictures, all the data, combine it together. And I do a lot of aerodynamic courses, and the intent is to basically come up with a flow visualization course based on a lot of the data that we're gathering on these last 2 days. I guess this goes into a bit of what we've been doing with your car, in that with the flow viz is that there's some things that you'll see with the flow viz that are problems that you can't quite fix without a design change. There are other things like an adjustable rear wing that flow viz can be used to tune in. So on this particular car, we did some flow viz on the rear wing. There was separation, a lot of it, on the second element. We saw an opportunity to adjust the first element and the second element, change the positions on that. We did a change on that. It corrected all the issues with separation, and that's going to presumably bring more rear downforce. Now, flow viz doesn't give us numbers, so we can't be sure that it did, but given that we cleaned up a whole bunch of separations, it's pretty certain that we improved performance. Same thing with things like front splitters and stuff like that. Again, using an example from your car, on the front splitter, the square bluff edge had obvious flow separation issues when we flow viz the underside of it. We went and put the rounded edge on it, which is something you could just do overnight, and that significantly improved it, which again, we don't have numbers, but it's fairly safe to say that we improved the performance of the car by cleaning up the separations underneath the splitter. Honestly, it's not bad, because the thing is that, like, with the front splitter setup and things like that, it's very close to the mark. Obviously with any design, there's rooms for improvements. Like, you can go through to a full custom CFD design, and you definitely get more performance with something like that. But for a non-CFD by-eye design, you're in the ballpark of what I would advise. You've got all the basic features down. You've got a rear wing. You've got the front splitter with front splitter tunnels. You're making good use of the plan form. The flows are looking generally quite good. Like I say, there's quite a few tweaks that can be done, but as a starting package, it's pretty good. Typically with these cars, the bulk of the performance is found on the front splitter and the rear wing, particularly in this rule set where you have an open floor. So with that in mind, you have to maximize those areas, and so that's where I would focus.
Greedy territory now, yeah?
Yeah, we are.
We're only doing this because we're greedy.
We're greedy.
yeah,
Now we're greedy.
That's how it is.
your call. Like, I can get another set.
Honestly, like for the sake of just trying to get that 29, like let's try and do it. $8 and
They always
cents.
want it. I actually want it. I'm the one that said I'm quite happy with 30s, but I'm happy to try for a 29. It's just how much do I want to try? Do I want it that bad that I'll spend 3K on it? That's thinking so.
So see.
I'll leave that up to you because for me, I'm just like, mate, save the dollars and cents. We've done an
Look, if
awesome
you
job.
say to me it could do a 29 in the next session on these tyres, go for it.
Mate,
If we make the shootout and you go, dude, go get it.
Mate, I reckon if we can control the suspension, we've got a 28 in. Like, so we've just got to try and tone that down.
So the first session was how can I put it? I guess some silly mistakes probably cost us a 29 on fresh tyres. So then we decided, well, let's sort that out and try again and see if we can do a 29 on second-hand tyres. We did a fair few changes between the sessions. We actually changed the front knuckles completely. The knuckles have less Ackerman. We thought that would help. And it helped one way, but it also changed the character of the car a little bit. So Boston said in this session, he was up in one of the sectors and looking quicker, but then had a moment that kind of didn't work and we weren't quicker. So now I guess it's a juggling act of, we've got second-hand tyres on the car. Can it do a 29 with them? Do we go in the third session on second-handies and try and get the balance right? And then if we stay in fifth and do the shootout, do we put new ones on? I don't know what the answer is right now. We're going to have a bit of a team meeting and kind of discuss the strategy. All I know is a new set of tyres is just under $3,000. So it could be a case of it's going to cost me $3,000 to go into the 29s. We don't know yet. Boston seems to think the 29 is possible. We just tweak what's there on second-hand tyres. So we'll try that first in the third session, see where we're at and reevaluate. Who knows? We might go all in for that one flying lap, which is what All-Time Attack's all about, right? At the end of the second session, we were a little bit lost. We didn't really know what we were going to do. Don't have any new tyres. What do we do now? Is there any way to go quicker? Boston was adamant the car could still do a 29 on second-hand tyres. But then I was having a conversation with someone, it was actually the guys from Dynamite in the pits, and they said after they heard what we were talking about, they said, I'll tell you what, we'll do you a favour. We'll give you $1,000 for new tyres if you make the shootout. And I'm like, ooh, that helps. Walk past Herman from PRP. Hey Herman, if we make the shootout, will you chip in? Yeah mate, no worries. Hey Nick, Turbo Smart, if we make the shootout, will you chip in? Yeah mate. Hey, then we went and spoke to a couple of other people, and yeah, Steve from Juice Polishers, same deal. So a bunch of people have basically said, if you make the shootout, we'll buy the tyres. And it's not just about buying tyres, it's about obviously the cost of everything and the wear and tear on the car. So some of our sponsors have got together and said, good work, you make the shootout, we'll get you new tyres. But now there's a problem. They have no 295 30 18s. We're one of the only people that use them because we need them to fit the aero. But a 295 35 18 is way more common, bigger sidewall, and is actually a better tyre to use with more grip. So we wanted to see if we could get some second-hand ones, put on the car, make them fit, go in the third session, and if we stay in the shootout, we'll go buy new ones. So Damon with the PowerTune Evo, he kindly said, borrow some 295 35 18s, they've done 2 laps. So in theory, they're better condition than our tyres we already have, and they're a 295 35, so we may even go quicker in the third session. And then if we are all good after the third session, we're going to get brand new tyres thanks to a bunch of sponsors and partners helping us out. So see how we go. Who knows? Maybe that 29 could happen on the very last lap. Who knows? Let's see what happens.
on, Boston. We've got a red. We've got a red all-course red at the moment. And Boz won't have another crack at it there. It's a shame. I just wonder how many more minutes we've got on the stopwatch for this session where GCG Open would let that car.
Still, we're doing 30s all the time now.
It's pretty impressive.
We're close, so we're like, we've never made a shootout in our life. It's teasing you. Yeah. But if we were 31s, we'd just be happy and not teased.
Literally, yeah. 6 is heartbreaking.
We just lost like less than 500 or something to 6. So I'm pretty excited. I came back from the Flying 500. I was off over there for like over an hour, doing what I had to do there. I left the boys here. When I'd left, we were in 6th place, and I was like, oh man, we're going to miss out on the shootout. And I was hoping that maybe another car broke, we had another shot at it. And I come back to the pits, there's brand new tyres on the car, baby. We're going in the shootout. It's our first time ever in the shootout. Honestly, we don't care about a podium or that stuff. We just want to be in the shootout, be on that live stream, and just, you know what, just for the boys here, it's so good that this car gets to get on show on its own out there in front of the crowd as well. So new tyres are on. We actually had some sponsors come through and say they're going to chip in for some tyres. The guys from Dynamite in Melbourne started all this. They basically we'll give you some money to go towards tyres, and it just snowballed from there. So they're on. We're about to head out and try and get a 29. If we do, it's a fairy tale finish. If we don't, I'm still super stoked that we ran a 30.4 because we're way faster than we ever thought we'd be. So we're all super pumped to go, and then we discovered a very small coolant leak. The VE has a lot of vibration, and our coolant tank is attached to the engine. It's got a tiny crack in it, so we're just trying to make sure that's safe before we go. We've got like minutes left to try and get ready, so let's do it.
I want to drain the coolant out so I can dry the thing up. Run up and down the pits and find me Venus. I don't know if it's going to dry before then, but it will seal it even if it's wet.
Do you want to race tape it as well over the silicon?
Yeah, we're going to have to race tape. That's going to charge.
Hey, hold up, bro.
What?
I might have some native putty now. They should have everything apparently.
Yes, sick. Put that back on for me. Dry it. Watch this, fella. You want to scotch that first? Huh? You want to scotch it first? Yeah, if you got some.
Yeah, we've got scotch right here.
Yeah, go.
It's on the table over there.
Hey, Rob.
See it? Just along the top.
Brake cleaner to rag. Brake cleaner.
Get that in.
Stop.
Am I right to put a bit on this front corner?
Yes, go for it. Thank you very much.
Let's go, guys. You're up. Let's go.
That's enough. That's low enough. That means it's going to come up. Now, if you try to get more of that, yeah?
Looks like Bods did get into the shootout, the open shootout. So that's coming up next, the GCG Open class. And Johnny Boston gets a bit of a go. And I'm sure when Ferris gets back to the pits, we want the crowd on pit row to get into him. Clap, cheer and whistle. They love, if you get the clapping and the whistling, the hands above the head, clapping for the man. Hopefully he'll see your appreciation, and we just wanted that great atmosphere here. I know we've got them already hooked on the atmosphere generated here, but I want you guys to show extra enthusiasm I mean, you guys did pay to come and see these people, but yes, I still think if you feel you need to applaud, do it when he comes. Down to you, Luffy. It's all boiling up.
Yeah, down here in the pits there, JET200 is out on track. Johnny Boston needs no introduction. He is a legend of World Time Attack. But here with Andrew Hawkins, car runner, mate, it's been a mission to get here. Tell us about what's happened in the last couple of hours.
Look, we were in 5th place for most of the day, and we actually lost that, got into 6th by only like 300th of a second. We're pretty devoted, even though we thought we'd never even get this far. But then obviously another broken car means we found out we're in the shootout. We scrambled. I actually went around the pits talking to my sponsors saying, can you help us out? And they all, and you know what, it's more like mates came together. We all chipped in. We got some new tyres for it outside of my tyre budget, and we're going out. And it's either gonna work or it's gonna blow a head gasket trying.
Mate, we look forward to watching this one. Good luck.
Thanks, mate.
And sounds and what he's up to the next few corners. Bit of icing on the cake with his team that they could do a 20-something with this car. Get on! He's up the sectors though, so keep an eye out on this. Johnny Boston, he's lit up the sectors. Johnny Boston sends it! Minute 29!
Another feel-good story, World Time Attack 2023. You said coming into the round you would have been happy to do a 30. You're in the 29s. How does it feel? What does it mean to you guys?
Mate, I actually told the guys, I said, all I want to do is do a 31. And they said, what if it does a 30? I see backflips. They go, what if you do a 29? I said, you know what? As a joke, I said, if I do a 29, I'm going to go bankrupt on the after party on Sunday night, because that is just, that car should not do that. But this team, these boys, and all the work we've done in the last 30 days, and John Boston's driving, I can't believe it. So good. Wow, I don't know what to say anymore, and that's rare for me. I don't think anyone thought that was possible. We got hope once we ran the 30, and there was hope of a 29. Personally, I didn't want to get my hopes up. So I thought the car would make me work for it. And then I found out we got into 6th. I went to the Flying 500. I didn't know we're in. And I was a bit down. And then I came back and they said, we're in. And I'm like, one last chance. One last chance. How you feeling?
Mate, awesome. I'm pumped. Like, I'm so obviously happy for the whole team. It's a huge effort for everybody to do this sort of stuff. Mate, you know, I honestly didn't know what we were going to do. We've been doing the 33s. I thought, oh, we might do a 32, and you know, and then you said you wanted to break, you know, Freddie's record at a 32.4, and here we are, mate, in the 29. So it's unbelievable. I know. And how simple the car still is, really, compared to obviously everything in front of us. Mate, it's a gratitude, obviously, to still continue on this journey for 20 years. And look at it, everybody's obviously pumped, and as am I, mate. I'm very grateful that you allow me to steer it. So
always.
Well done, mate. Hey? 129.
Unbelievable.
Woo!